To sell? You want to buy it? Oh yeah. Got a new bike. This is I guess you could say it's a cafe racer style e-bike from Ride1up. We worked with them in the past. They make really good bikes. Ride1up is a e-bike manufacturer down in San Diego, and from everything I've heard about them, they have incredible service after you buy your bike. So compared to this time last year when I was doing a lot of these reviews, I think the main thing you want to look for when you're buying an e-bike is knowing the brand is going to cover you if something goes wrong. So here's what you see when you first open the box. From what I can tell, there's not actually a ton of packaging, which I personally love. I hate seeing just a crap ton of packaging. I don't see almost any styrofoam. There's a little bit of cardboard, but other than that, it is very nicely packaged with just cardboard. Go ahead and get all this out. First thing you can see is a tire. That is a big tire. I believe these are 20 by 4-inch wheels. This is a big heavy duty zip tire we're gonna have to cut through. I think what we're gonna do is try and pull everything out at once, put the bike down, the box down on its side, and assemble it on its side. So let's go ahead and do that. This box is heavy. It's about 100 pounds. When you get it delivered, you're gonna need some help. Ooh, that one's real tight. I don't know if we'll be able to cut through that with ease. We're just gonna first remove as much packaging as we can. Well packaged, I gotta say. This is one of the best packing jobs I've seen out of a bike so far. It's not too much ridiculous styrofoam everywhere, but it's just enough to keep the bike safe. Like always, I suggest that you just take your brand new fancy electric bike to a bike shop and have them do it if you don't know how to put a bike together. Yeah, I don't think this is how you're supposed to take it out, but okay, well, it's one way to do it. Okay, well anyways, now we can see what's in the box. This is our front wheel. Looks like it's still very strapped down. So from here, we're just gonna try and cut all these green zip ties. Got a very nice box. Let's take a look at this. It's like we have to put on the front end, front wheel. That's kind of it, but for most people, that's a pretty tall order. So this is what you can expect when you take the bike out of the box. Handlebars. Here is our gear selector, I take it. There's our heads-up display. All right, we got CST tires. Looks like they went with Bafang for the wheels. I didn't even know they made wheels. I don't know if this is a Bafang hub motor. If you're really getting to the enthusiast side of electric bikes, there's a lot of people who swear by Bafang. They make good stuff. We've almost got the bike uncovered. We want to get the handlebars installed so we can flip the bike upside down, put the front wheel on. That's about it as far as installation goes. Very nice packaging by Ride1up. Charger, tools, small parts, and more. And here you have an owner's manual, user manual. This is for the suspension, D&M. And let's get past that. We got a free beanie. Very nice. And here we have our pedals, 2 keys. These are probably just to take the battery out. Usually these e-bikes don't require keys to start them. 2 pedals, well-go, and the charger. Standard tiny toolkit. Pretty much any bike you buy nowadays, as far as e-bikes, come with these same tools: Allen keys, a pedal wrench, and whatever other wrench is required to install the bike parts. So this bike comes in 2 different models. There is a hardtail model that does not have this rear suspension, and the wheelbase is slightly shorter. It's also a few $100s less, and you have a slightly smaller amp hour battery. So when you pay the slight price premium for the full suspension, you get a rear shock, you get a slightly larger battery, and you have a slightly longer wheelbase. So if you're a little bit of a taller rider, you would pretty much, it's a no-brainer to get the full suspension one. Other than that, pretty straightforward. 20-inch is my favorite for these types of moped style bikes because you don't really need those big massive tires. All right, quickly put on the handlebars. All you have to do is take this stem cap off, put the bars on where you want them, and put it back on. You get the Allen key next size down, and that's how you're gonna adjust your heads-up display. Tighten it wherever you want it. Okay, we got the front end completely assembled. Pop this through axle out. We grab our front wheel. Surprisingly not a difficult bike to flip upside down given its dimensions, and you can do so safely because the heads-up display is not on the handlebars, so you're not in risk of crushing anything. You can get our front wheel, slide it right into the disc brake. Okay, with the front wheel on, it was actually a very simple installation. You just have to make sure you line up these cone washers. They go on the proper side. It's done. Let's go ahead and rip this off. The last bit of packaging. Let's take a look. There you have it. This is your complete bike, how it looks when you have it unboxed. Very nice silhouette. Now, the CEO, his name is Daniel, of Ride1up himself, told me that this bike is meant to go directly after Super 73. It is a direct competitor, and they think it's better in pretty much every measurable category. So, I personally have never ridden a Super 73, but this bike looks sick. Like, it just looks way cooler in person than it looked in pictures. So, I'm excited to take this for a spin. We're going to be doing an urban cruise in it, see how it handles in traffic, and we will be testing one secret feature, which I will have to do some digging in the menus to find out how to activate it, but it has one certain special feature that should really set it apart from the pack. Okay, We have pedal assist turned off, but the throttle is always on. Okay, yeah. Throttle's definitely on. All right, folks, we're out here in a beautiful Westlake, California with the Ride1up Revv 1. I spent about an hour riding this bike the other day, so I have a pretty good feel for it. We unlocked it, so that's something you can do. If you email the manufacturer, they'll send you the steps to unlock it. It's a pretty simple process, but that opens up the bike's full potential, so to speak. It unlimits the motor, so it hits a higher top speed and actually becomes a bit more powerful. So that's gonna be how we are testing the bike today. We're gonna be trying to hit stairs, as much off-road as possible, get it in traffic and ride it like a bike, and see what this thing can do. I'm pretty excited to see what it's capable of because I've never really tested a bike like this, even though I've always kind of wanted one. Let's get into it. First off, I do want to say the bike just looks good. I've never really been interested in a bike like this, but when I saw this after it was built, I was like, wow, that's a handsome bike. It actually looks very nice. I do wish this kickstand was here. I don't know, that's a design thing, because when you try to kickstand it on an incline, I noticed it's kind of hard to make it stable. With all that said, let's go ahead and get going. We're in pedal assist level 3. So this bike just performs super well when you use it in throttle only mode. I feel like that is clearly how it was designed to be used. You know, the pedal assist is an afterthought. It's nice to be able to pedal the bike too. There's a few reasons that's nice. One, you get a tiny bit of exercise. Two, it makes you a little bit more inconspicuous with all the crazy new e-bike laws that are springing up. I don't know, I feel like depending on where you live, you either barely get away with riding an e-bike, or somewhere out here like LA, I mean, there's no laws regarding anything, so. Oh, a little bit of off-road action right here. Oh yeah, it performs. So it's got dual suspension, which is definitely helpful. Dude, we caught, that was a solid jump right there. That was pretty sick. As I mentioned when I was unboxing this bike comes in two models, a hardtail and a full suspension. This is the full suspension one. I could not see myself wanting to purchase the hardtail after riding this full suspension around. Oh, just for a little bit. It is so comfortable and fun jumping this thing and being able to rely on the rear suspension. Go ahead and go through some alleyways of Westlake real quick. These alleys almost constitute as off-road riding because they're so bumpy. The bike feels very planted with the suspension. Ooh. It comes with these tires that they're not quite supermoto tires, but they're very good at all terrain. And I gotta say, hold on, listen to the brakes. The brakes work really well, and I'm a big fan of these tires. I do wish more bikes came with this size tires, this 20 by 4-inch tires. I love this setup. You guys know I came from riding 20-inch BMX bikes, so this is like right up my alley. One thing that is a little bit tricky for me is starting on an incline. You can't throttle and brake at the same time, so you have to let off the brake, keep your feet planted, and then throttle it, but it works. We kind of just shredded our way off course, but that was a nice little off-road demonstration. So check this out. These brakes actually work really well. I was surprised at how good the brakes work. Listen to them. Not bad, right? Even get a little bit of tire squeal. That's when you know your brakes they're stopping, to say the least. They definitely stop. Okay, we're gonna turn around here. Let's go ahead and just use pedal assist for a second. So clearly it's kind of designed to be used moped only. I do wish there was a slightly stiffer gear, because look, your legs just start maxing out pretty much immediately. Not geared to be pedaled at the top speed that you get in this off-road mode. It's meant to be throttled only at that point, but you could always just keep it in pedal assist 1, and in that case, you know, you're kind of not much cheating it. You have the mix of the throttle and the pedal assist to get you where you got to go. So we got a lot of ground to cover. We got to get around this Beamer. I had a bike similar to this about a year ago. It was called the Aerial Rider something. I actually forgot the name of it. It was by Aerial Rider. It didn't really fit what I was into at the time. It was super powerful, I'll say that. It was like pointlessly powerful, and the way I'll explain that is like it had more power than the bike had the potential to deliver. This dude has the most insane lineup. Third Street Bills, shout out to him. But riding that was kind of like having a car with a bunch of motor and no ability to steer or brake to keep up with how much motor it had, right? It was like they just put as much power as they could down. We got pink cameras, and then they just said screw everything else. The bike felt a little too dangerous for me to enjoy. Like it was pointlessly overpowered. It's fun for some people, but for me, I need that balance, right? This feels a lot more controllable with the full suspension. You can kind of jump it like a BMX. It's got the power to pick up when you want to. It's got good brakes. I feel like I'm kind of on like a like a motorized BMX on this thing. That's the coolest part so far. Look at that trash. What the? Oh my God. Okay, so that was a bad example of a segue into my next point, but I was gonna say the throttle is very precise. I actually really like the throttle because you can feather it just perfectly. You can almost feather it in the same way as a Sur-Ron, and it reacts exactly to how much input you're putting into it. Like, it does just what you want it to do, which I'm a big fan of when it comes to throttles. I like, nothing makes me more irritated when there's a throttle that just doesn't have like the ability to feather it. It's kind of just like on or off. Like once you twist it, you're just kind of going. So to see that they have the throttle tuned just very well is it was a pleasant surprise for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and mob through MacArthur Park, the infamous, the one and only, one of my favorite off-road routes. Some of the most off-road we can get in the city. Look at this place. You'd think it's a festival. Ooh. So that was actually pretty bumpy. If I had a rigid suspension right there, it would have been pretty rough on the forearms. But we're just kind of yeah, don't mind me, is what I like to say. Yeah, I'm surprised at how efficient the dual suspension is on this bike. I wasn't expecting it to be as like as helpful as it actually is, but it really is quite helpful. Oh man, we took a sketchy route there. I could barely see where I was going. Folks, don't recreate that at home. that was a wild route I took right there. I was going into the sun, so I couldn't really see, just so I could get up here and bomb down these stairs. Oh yeah, it feels so good going downstairs like that and bumpy stuff. Honestly, I want to say it's not that far off from how confidence inspiring the Sur-Ron feels when you're bombing downstairs or super bumpy stuff. I couldn't speak for how it is on like a downhill trail. I don't even know of one that you could ride on. Like, you're not supposed to ride a Sur-Ron on mountain bike trails in the first place, so I don't do that. Most of my downhill riding is in the city where there's really no rules at all, right? So you can kind of get away with anything. I'm gonna go ahead and try and hit a max speed run right here. See how fast we can go on this descent, and we're gonna jump into it. This thing full on bunny hops. It's kind of wild. Oh. We're gonna gun it on this flat. We're at 30, hitting 35. I think we're coming up on 40 miles an hour. I think it's safe to say it can hit on a flat. Just go up this hill. I like to be able to rely on that suspension to get me out of sticky scenarios like that. Okay, we are getting after it at the same level as I usually do on a Sur-Ron, which says a whole lot right now. I just want to say that I am beyond impressed with how able I am to get down on this bike right now. It's definitely a little bit more capable than I thought. I do want to test if it can go upstairs. Do we dare? This is kind of a gnarly set too. Oh, uh-oh. No. Yeah, well, that's my fault. Ay. I shouldn't have risked that. That was my idiot fault. It did it though. It did it so smooth. I didn't know that was gonna happen. That's unfortunate, but now we got to figure that out. Can't name a worse place for this to have happened too. We're in one of the worst parts of town right here. Ay. All right, I got a plan. Flat tire, man.
How much?
To sell? You want to buy it? 5,000.
500.
500? Ah, you need a little bit more than that, man. Watching my back out here. He's like, oh, that thing's worth 5,000? Okay. Damn, dude. Let's see, is he following me? Yeah, he's got his eye on me. Welcome to LA. Ain't nothing I ain't used to. Go ahead and follow me. I'll ask when you want to follow.
Oh my God, they got
There's a bike shop right here?
Yeah, it's around the 7th, next block, half a block.
Oh, okay. I have friends over here, that's why. My amigos are here. I'll be there. Thank you. Can we ride this thing out? Nope. We're gonna kill the tire if we ride that. Well, we're walk moding it. slinging that.
1 million, 1 million.
Well, now we get to take a walking tour of MacArthur Park, something I have never done. There's no reason to overdo this, but this Ride1up review has turned into the hood tour. A little hectic out here. I'm watching my back. You gotta watch the back. You got no choice right here, unfortunately. I mean, the good part is I can still throttle this to get back to the car. This sucks. Talk about a worse place for this to have gone down. Luckily, I'm not too far from where I started. Gotta get across this street right now. It's rush hour out here in LA too. Not ideal scenario. The bike was absolutely killing it up until I decided to push it a little too far. I should have known better. That was an error on my part, no fault of the bike. Pretty much any bike would fail under that. Even a Sur would probably get a flat there. Unlucky. The bike was doing so amazingly. I mean, it was killing it. The performance was shocking me. No bueno. Folks, a bit of an unfortunate ending, but I really like this bike a lot. But for now, gotta worry about fixing a flat. You can find this bike at the first link in the description. Thanks again to Ride1up for sponsoring this video. As always, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.